In addition to describing the shape of a distribution, often we want to describe the dataset's central tendency. A measure of central tendency represents the center or middle of the data. Sometimes we think of a measure of central tendency as the typical value. However, not all measures of central tendency are necessarily typical values. When a summary measure that describes some aspect of a data set is computed using population data from a census, it is called a population parameter. For example, a population mean is the average of all the values in a population. When the same measurement is calculated using sample data, it is called a sample statistic. Measures of central tendency tell us where the center of the data tends to be. While there are others, the three main measures of central tendency are the mean, the median, and the mode. The mean is simply the average. It is also known as the expected value. The population mean is represented by the Greek letter mu, while the sample mean is represented by the symbol x bar. The median is the middle value when the data is sorted in either ascending or descending order. It is sometimes represented by a capital M with a D subscript. There is no difference between the population and sample symbol. The mode is simply the most frequent value. It is sometimes represented by a capital M with an O subscript. As with the median, there is no difference between the population and sample symbol. Members of the population are represented using a capital X with a subscripted number, while members of the sample are represented using a lowercase x with a subscripted number. Since a sample is drawn from a population, all of the members of the sample can also be found in the population. The sample mean is a point estimate of the population mean. The mean is the average of the measurements. Both the population and sample mean are calculated by adding up all the values and dividing by the number of elements used, capital N for the population size and lowercase n for the sample size. The two formulas shown on the screen illustrate that the calculations are very similar, only using different symbols. Here, we calculate the sample mean for the first 5 car gas mileages from the textbook. We add them up and get a total of 156.3, and dividing by 5, we get the sample mean of 31.26. Of course, we are likely to obtain a more accurate point estimate of the population mean by using all of the available sample information. As stated earlier, the median is the middle observation when the data is sorted in either ascending or descending order. As such, 1/2 of the observations fall below it and 1/2 fall above it. To compute the median, you first sort the data, usually in ascending order. If there is an odd number of observations, the median is simply the number in the middle. If there is an even number of observations, then it is the average of the two numbers in the middle. The screen shows the first 5 car mileage observations from the textbook. To find the median, we first put them in order from smallest to largest. In this case, there is an odd number of observations, so the median is simply the one in the middle, or 31.6 in this example. In the second example, there are 6 observations. In this case, we average the two in the middle. 30 plus 34 divided by 2 equals 32. As stated earlier, the mode is the most frequent observation. That is, it is the most common value. Not all data sets have a single mode. Having 2 sets of values that are tied as the most frequent is called bimodal, and having 3 or more tied is called multimodal. It is also possible not to have a mode at all. This happens anytime all of the observations are unique. When using a histogram, the mode will be the class with the tallest box in the histogram. The screen shows graphically the relationship between the mean, median, and mode for 3 different types of distributions. When the distribution is symmetrical, as it is in A, the mean, median, and mode will all be at the same point. This is shown on the left distribution. When the distribution is skewed right, as it is in B, the median and mode are to the left of the mean. This is shown on the center distribution. When the distribution is skewed left, as it is in C, the median and mode will be to the right of the mean. This is shown on the right distribution.